Imagine stepping into a bathroom belonging to one of television's most recognizable couples and discovering that the real star of the room isn't an extravagant chandelier or a flashy modern fixture. Instead, it's a design principle that has been making homes feel calm and elegant for more than a century. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo's bathroom offers a fascinating example of how symmetry can transform an ordinary space into something that feels remarkably balanced. For fans who know the couple from Live with Kelly and Mark, their acting careers, and their appearances together away from the cameras, glimpses of their home life can be especially intriguing. But this time, the attention isn't focused on a family moment or a television appearance. It's about the interior design choices that make their bathroom stand out. The room demonstrates an idea that designers have relied on for generations. Symmetry can create an immediate sense of order. And while symmetrical interiors are often associated with traditional living rooms, formal dining spaces, and grand entryways, Kelly and Mark's bathroom shows that the same concept can work beautifully in a more private part of the home. So what makes this style so effective, and why does it continue to feel timeless after more than 100 years? The answer begins with balance. Symmetry is one of the oldest principles in interior design. At its simplest, it means arranging elements so that one side of a room visually relates to the other. This can involve matching furniture, lighting, mirrors, cabinetry, architectural details, or decorative objects. The appeal is almost instinctive. When our eyes see balanced shapes and repeated elements, a room can feel easier to understand. Nothing seems randomly placed, and the overall environment can feel calmer as a result. That is particularly useful in a bathroom. Bathrooms are often filled with practical necessities. There are sinks, mirrors, storage, lighting, plumbing fixtures, and countertops, all competing for attention. Without a clear visual structure, even an expensive bathroom can feel cluttered. Symmetry helps solve that problem. A pair of matching sinks immediately creates a natural central axis. Two mirrors can reinforce it. Matching lighting fixtures on either side can add another layer of balance. Even small decorative details can contribute to the effect. The result is a room that feels intentional rather than accidental. That is where Kelly and Mark's bathroom becomes an interesting design lesson. Instead of treating the bathroom as simply a functional space, the design approach gives it the same visual consideration that people might traditionally reserve for a living room. And that is a major reason this style continues to appeal to homeowners. For decades, symmetrical design has been associated with elegance and sophistication. Look at many historic homes, classic hotels, and traditional interiors, and you will often find the same principle repeated. The style doesn't necessarily require expensive materials or enormous rooms. That is an important point. You don't need to own a celebrity home to use symmetry in your own bathroom. Even a relatively small space can benefit from a concept. For example, a homeowner might place matching wall lights on either side of a mirror. Another option could be two identical mirrors positioned above a double vanity. Matching hardware can create another subtle connection between the two sides of the room. The key is consistency. When elements relate to each other visually, the room begins to feel more cohesive. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo's bathroom has attracted attention precisely because it demonstrates how an established design principle can feel fresh when applied thoughtfully. There is also something particularly appropriate about symmetry in a bathroom shared by two people. Unlike a living room, which is usually designed around entertaining guests, a primary bathroom is often a highly personal space. It needs to work for two people while still feeling peaceful. A symmetrical layout naturally lends itself to that situation. Two sinks can provide separate areas. Two mirrors give each person their own visual space. Matching fixtures establish equality. And a balanced arrangement prevents one side of the room from visually overpowering the other. That practical benefit is one reason double vanity bathrooms have become so popular. But symmetry doesn't have to mean everything is perfectly identical. That is where modern designers have become more creative. A room can have symmetrical architecture while introducing different textures or decorative accents. The basic structure remains balanced, but the space doesn't become sterile. For example, matching mirrors can be paired with different accessories. Identical lights can illuminate different objects. A centered bathtub can become the focal point, while cabinetry and storage create balance around it. This creates what designers sometimes describe as visual harmony rather than strict duplication. And that distinction matters. Perfect symmetry can sometimes feel formal or overly rigid. A more relaxed interpretation allows homeowners to maintain balance without making the room look like a showroom. That combination of order and personality is one of the most appealing aspects of the style. It also explains why this design principle has survived changing trends. Interior design fashions come and go. One decade might favor heavily decorated rooms. Another might embrace minimalism. Then warm, natural materials return. Colors change, furniture shapes change, and technology changes. But symmetry remains. Why? Because it isn't really a trend. It's a visual principle. The same basic idea can work with traditional cabinetry, modern stone, minimalist fixtures, or vintage-inspired details. That adaptability is what makes it timeless. For Kelly and Mark, the bathroom design also fits into a broader interest in their home and lifestyle. The couple has spent decades in the public eye, meaning even small glimpses into their private world can attract attention. Their home has become an extension of the personalities fans see on television. Polished but personal, sophisticated without necessarily feeling completely formal. A well-designed bathroom can communicate the same thing. It doesn't need to be covered in luxury branding to look expensive. Sometimes the most impressive feature is simply how well everything works together. That is an important lesson for anyone considering a renovation. Instead of beginning with the question, what is the most expensive thing I can put in this room? A better question might be, what will make this room feel balanced? That shift in thinking can completely change the design process. Start with the layout. Where is the main visual center of the room? Is the vanity centered? Are the mirrors aligned? Does the lighting support the arrangement? Are the materials repeated in a way that connects different areas? These questions are often more important than simply following the latest trend. And symmetry can make those decisions easier. It provides a framework. Once that framework exists, homeowners can introduce personality through texture, color, artwork, towels, plants, or decorative accessories. The result can feel both organized and lived in. That may be one reason viewers respond so strongly when they see celebrity interiors that rely on classic principles instead of constantly chasing what's new. There's something reassuring about timeless design. A room doesn't have to look radically different every year to remain beautiful. In fact, the most successful spaces often have a foundation that can survive changing tastes. That is exactly what makes the idea behind Kelly and Mark's bathroom so interesting. The style may have roots stretching back generations, but it doesn't feel outdated simply because it uses balance. Instead, it proves that classic design principles can be adapted to contemporary homes. And there is another psychological benefit worth considering. Bathrooms are often used at the beginning and end of the day. They're places where people prepare for work, get ready for an event, or wind down before bed. That means the atmosphere matters. A visually chaotic room can feel stimulating. A balanced room can feel more peaceful. Symmetry doesn't magically make a bathroom relaxing, of course, but can contribute to an environment that feels orderly and predictable. That sense of order can be especially appealing in a room designed around daily routines. The lesson here isn't that every bathroom needs to look exactly like Kelly and Mark's. Quite the opposite. The real takeaway is that good design isn't always about copying a celebrity's home. It's about understanding why a particular design works. In this case, the answer is balance. Symmetry gives the eye a clear path through the room. It creates relationships between objects. It can make a space feel larger, calmer, and more deliberate. And perhaps most importantly, it can be achieved without completely redesigning your home. Even simple changes can make a noticeable difference. Matching lighting is one possibility. Repeating materials is another. Centering major architectural elements can help. Keeping visual weight relatively even across the room can also create a more harmonious result. The approach can be adjusted to almost any style. Traditional homeowners might use ornate mirrors and classic fixtures. Modern homeowners might choose clean lines and simple geometric shapes. Transitional spaces can combine both. The principle remains the same. Balance first, personality second. That is why the design idea continues to appear in homes long after the original fashions that popularized it have disappeared. And when a celebrity couple like Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos demonstrates the concept in their own home, it gives the principle another moment in the spotlight. For fans, it offers a glimpse into the couple's taste.